Should we start with, I think, probably the question everybody wants to ask about
The weather?
the end? The weather. The end of the game the other day, and that flagrant foul. And have you, in the last couple of days, gotten an explanation on what happened there?
No, not necessarily. The league's aware of what happened, and I don't know how that works beyond that. So we'll wait and see if there's anything that comes up. I think it was an unfortunate judgment at the time. Obviously, didn't work in our favor. So, I've watched it. I don't know how many times. Mark, probably 1,000, maybe. The play itself, the game itself, I've watched 5 or 6 in its entirety. And with all that said, that play was not a good play to happen at the time. We also had a 24-point lead on the road. We were up 8 points with under 4 minutes to go, going to the free throw line to shoot 2 shots. We have to find a way to win the game, no matter what happens there. And, that falls on me for, having the responsibility of teaching these guys how to finish the game. And we'll learn from it. We watched it yesterday, and we're time to move on to UT San Antonio.
When the foul happens in real time, and then they go to look at it, and you're on the huddle, is it even going through your mind at all that they might call this an intentional?
No, and I don't know if anybody did, to be honest. I immediately thought, because the kid made a pretty savvy move there to try to shoot the ball. It's a senior, right? And he kind of expected that, probably, and tried to go into a shooting motion. So, you could see the other official come into view and kind of mouth, that was clearly before the shot. So I think everybody thought they were going to see whether he actually was into his shooting motion, which I've learned is not reviewable anyway. So, that's not what they were reviewing.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes when you make a lot of shots, earlier we talk about it, threes especially, can be fool's gold. Was there some of that took place too? You build a big lead because you make some early shots, or not?
I don't think so. I would contend that we were up 24 somewhere about halfway through the second half too. Now this wasn't like first 10 minutes we kind of got away from them. We played well for 31 minutes of the game, and we gave up 18 points in 4 minutes. I mean, it was our defense that let us down, to be honest. And we were out-rebounded by 8, 12 of those in the negative in the second half. So, yeah, we didn't execute as well offensively, but up 8 going to the free throw line with under 4 minutes, and you get a couple stops, you win the game. And that's what the message was, and our team has received it, and we'll be ready to handle that moment the next time.
When you have a young team, is that getting through all 40 minutes the hardest thing to teach? Because I know you guys went through that last year where you had a bunch of games where those final 6 minutes you sort of faded. Is that as hard as anything to get through to young players?
Yeah, I mean, and last year's team wasn't that young. Right. I mean, so it was just different. But, yeah, it's a process. Isaac Likely, for instance, doesn't understand how important every possession in the game means. And he's learning that, and he's going to be a terrific player. But it's never mattered this much to be locked in terms of your mentality, every possession. And so, not only him, you're stepping up to the free throw line. He was the guy at the free throw line. Just kind of maybe locking in. He's a good free throw shooter. And I think we'll see that bear itself out over the course of the season. But understanding the importance of every possession is a learning process, and it's not something that those guys were doing it for the first time. And to their credit, not necessarily in their defense, it's very rare you take a team on the road against a quality team, for their first game. That counts. We played the exhibition, but it was real. It's on our record now, and for the rest of the year, that will stand. So, I'm proud of our kids for the way they played. I didn't anticipate being able to go on the road and get up 24 points. This will be my 15th year in college basketball. I can count on the number of times that I've been up 24 points on the road in a true road game. It doesn't happen very often at any level. And so for those young guys to go out there and execute the game plan the way they did for 25 to 30 minutes, is something we can build on. But now it's the next part. We got to learn how to finish.
What do you anticipate? Because I know you had to spend Saturday night, right? You didn't get back until yesterday, right? What do you anticipate seeing from them today? I mean, what do you hope to see from them today?
Well, we saw them yesterday. We spent a good part of the time trying to put that game behind us, because one of the things, we're in the stage of the season where there's another game. We'll get to a point later in the year where we're talking about when it's over and we play that way, we don't get to have this conversation about learning from it. But we came and watched the film, and we watched a lot of it. We rewound a lot of times, and we pointed out a lot of mistakes. But there were some good things, like I said. So we used yesterday to kind of put that game behind us. We won't talk about it anymore, other than there is a segment of my practice today that has, we're going to be up 8 points with 3 minutes and 43 seconds, and yours is going to be at the free throw line, and we're going to play out the last 4 minutes and just kind of see how better we handle it. You know, that's part of the process with a young team, is you keep putting them in that situation, and they continue to learn from it and get better for it.
Is Mike pretty much day-to-day with his situation?
I wouldn't necessarily say day-to-day. I mean, obviously he's available. You know, it's for him, he's got to catch up. You know, he's behind, and we're not going to put him out there when he's not yet prepared to help us win. And he wasn't there Saturday. He has another 2 more days of practice, and we'll see on Wednesday if he's closer.
In Cunningham, how's he?
He's probably more day-to-day. He probably could have went the other day, but you know, this is a long-term deal, man, and I don't want to be short-sighted and trying to rush the kid back. Those are pretty, you know, tender muscles, and you know, the last thing you want to do is re-aggravate it. So we'll get him as close to 100% and make sure he feels good psychologically about going out there, because we demand that they play really hard. I mean, not going to just sit out there in the 2-3 zone and go shoot a bunch of threes. I mean, he's going to guard his man like we expect. He's going to take charges. He's going to dive on the loose balls when he needs to. And so when he's ready to do all those things, then he'll play.
The decision to put Trey on scholarship, where did that come from, and when did that really idea kind of come to fruition in your mind?
You know, we've had the scholarship open here for a while, since August when we started. And I didn't give Trey Reeves anything. Trey Reeves earned that. He embodies everything we want in a Cowboy basketball player in terms of who he is as a person. He represents everything that we come out here with these shirts on every single day. He commands the respect of his teammates by the way he works. He's been here going on a full 3 years, has yet to get less than an A in the class. It means something. And no one cares more about being able to put that jersey on every day than he does. So to have an opportunity to reward that was a no-brainer in terms of the availability, and no one's more deserving of that than he is.
You mentioned that you were able to get a hold of his dad before he was. Kind of what was his reaction to you talked to him?
This is a funny story. You know, there's been people kind of looking for Big Country. I don't know why, nationally, right? They can't seem to find him, but I see him all the time. And he's pretty hard to miss. But I was driving to Oklahoma City because my family went on a trip with us, and I called him on the trip because I did it at practice on Friday. And I called and I told my wife, you know what, I probably won't get a hold of him, because he's probably on a farm in the middle of Oklahoma somewhere where he doesn't have any cell phone reception. And surely I get to the airport, I get a text from him that he missed the call, and you know, Trey got a hold of him, and he said, well, tell Coach I apologize I missed his call, but I get no service out here. But as I expected, they're very thankful and grateful. Obviously, he means the world to this program. You know, Big Country does, and we're certainly thankful that he allows his son to be a part of the program continually.
What went into the thought process of how you did it with the captains being involved?
I got a team of really, really strong staff here. So it was a collaborative effort. Stephen Howard gets a lot of credit for being the creative genius behind the way we presented it. And I guess it went over well.